Hello, everyone. Today is Monday. We have a dev sync. The whole team is here. We'll share updates on all things engineering and plans for the upcoming few days. Ozgan, you're first on my screen. Do you want to start?
Why not? Okay. So last week we had an issue for some characters not being rendered on the log file. We kind of fixed it with Ivan. It's at least working now. I also fixed the external drive support for Subspace desktop. So now it recalculates the disk space properly when you select a new external hard drive, which will be very good news for all of our users. Aside from that, we had a few new snapshots came, so we updated Tauri dependencies, updated the monorepo dependencies in desktop as well. Along with that, I updated Tauri dependencies. They have some new features, but none of them could be very useful to us. So I rather choose to keep the code as it is. There is another issue submitted by one of our users. He suggested us to change into using rotating logs instead of normal logs, and I find it very an accurate suggestion. So this feature is not fully supported in tracing right now, so that's why I'm trying to implement it on in their site. So I opened a PR on their site. They reviewed it. I implemented the suggestions, and they probably took the weekend off. So I believe today or tomorrow, I will get a response from them. Hopefully, when that merges, I will make that rotating log feature enabled. And lastly, Leo, when he was back there, had started a Lucid chart for the flowchart of the Subspace desktop app. It was not finished. I finished it. We have a proper flowchart of the desktop application right now. And that's all.
Okay. On the external drive support, that was one of those like famous one-liner fixes.
Yeah,
It fixed all the problems. Very nice. Okay, Serge, you're next.
Yeah, so I'm still focused on Subspace desktop. So voting rewards integration is currently on hold because there is no UI, no mockup for the new dashboard, unfortunately. So I created the document that I mentioned previous week regarding state management for the UI application, Subspace desktop UI application. But yeah, we hadn't had a chance to discuss it yet with Jeremiah. Apart from that, I was helping Ozgonna Beat with testing external drive support on macOS. And currently I'm working on the issue that Justin created. So transition from syncing to when syncing is done, which is like not valid transition, I would say. So it's a bit hard to reproduce. I'm currently working on setting up like local testnet with a recent node, and hopefully we'll finish it soon. And after that, I will work on whatever comes next for Subspace desktop.
Okay. Any questions, comments to Serge about any of this? All right. Thanks, Serge. Good progress. Ivan, what about you?
Yeah, so during last week, I was mostly finalizing like all the things which I talked about previous week. So finally updated the subspace solving library with our new sloth implementation with OpenCL. So there are still things to do, like update docs, etc. Yeah, but it is now finally merged. Yeah, hope to get some feedback from the users. I guess we already had some with our like snapshot. Yeah, apart from that, I was also finalizing adding the GeoIP database for the party like telemetry of the substrate telemetry. Yeah. Apart from that, there was one minor issue related to sync. There was an infinite loop bug. yeah, we decided to simplify the sync algorithm. So yeah, it is almost merged right now. Yeah, there are still some CI issues. Yeah, hope to fix that soon today. Yeah, and apart from that, I was working on the adding the support of the backwards iteration for the party DB. It's mostly done. I hope I will finalize it today. Yeah, there are some still issues because it's not that documented and etc. Yeah, after that, I plan to integrate it finally into the farmer and finally get rid of the RocksDB. Yeah, apart from that, I will work on optimizing the farmer. Yeah, hope to think with Nazar about that and with some of the ideas. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Yep. Thank you. Any questions, Stevan? All right. Justin, you're next on my screen.
Yeah. So obviously with Gemini over the past week, my biggest focus has just been supporting the community. Overall, I've just been making sure to answer everyone's questions and kind of starting to transfer everyone over to the forum side or focusing on the forums a little bit more. Also been working on improving the docs, just been making improvements to the UI, some slight changes to the layout and things like that, just to make it a little bit more user-friendly as we go. And just continuing to report bugs up to the team as I go as well. As Serge mentioned, found a few on Subspace desktop and things along those lines. It's a pretty small update on me, so pretty focused on the support side. But I also wanted to mention thank you for everyone's help. I know all of you guys have been hopping in there and answering questions and forum posts and everything as well, so it's definitely appreciated.
Thanks, Justin, for sure. Alexei, you're next on my screen.
So I'm writing some small Ansible playbooks just to make some automation to deploy and change parameters of archive nodes. Also, I set up Terraform Cloud, so later with that, we'll try to put Terraform state there, and we'll try to share how it works, because currently it's on a free plan. So I guess for state sharing and to preserving a state, it's good. Also, I'm learning more about the subspace technology in general. I guess makes some kind of a cheat sheets and maybe some, let's say, playgrounds just to make it understand better. So in terms of trees, etc. So I'm looking to set up some Docker composers with, I guess, Mitten proxy and some playgrounds, such like that, so that it would be visible what kind of messages. If it's encrypted, of course, it won't be visible, but for WebSocket, I guess it would be visible. And also, it would be easier to understand how we can actually improve it later. Well, also, I'm researching providers for bare metal solutions, which actually would fit our archive nodes better. So only one thing is bad, that provisioning also kind of tailored to cloud providers. So it usually sets up identity on the hardware, such as MAC addresses and hardware footprints, but not the high level, such as, let's say, as Kubernetes would do, nothing like that.
Okay. How many machines did we start last week to help
We started
process?
about 20 machines. It was for archive nodes, so it was to handle all synchronization issues. And what else? I guess that's pretty much it. Also, a few smaller Ansible scripts to automate them easily. And also, I get a valuable input from Nazar how to make them better. So I'll improve it later on.
Okay. Any questions to Alexei? All right, Shamil, you're next.
Okay. Last week, I integrated a new Kademlia DHT version from Nazar into our Subspace networking crate. This will allow us to sync from the DSN without restarting the whole network. I also spent time researching the current PubSub solutions to prepare for my next task. This week, I'm going to add publish subscribe to archiving segments in our DSN. That's it.
Okay, very brief as usual. Thanks. Any questions to Shamil? All right, Daria, what about you?
Well, I don't think I have anything on the dev side, but on the core protocol. So,
Well, we can give a brief update to the whole team.
well, I finished my first review from the spec versus code implementation without going very deeply, but I already have a list of like 30 minor to major points that I would like to add to spec. Some of them are typos, some of them are, syntax arguments being the other order, some of them are more major. So I'll just, I'll actually have a question, like who, apart of you, from you, Nazar, was working on implementation of first Merkle trees and second the C correlation?
It's just me.
Nice. So I was like, I could ask someone else so I didn't have to disturb you all the time, but I guess
That's
there's no
fine.
other way. Okay.
Okay, I guess you'll continue with the same stuff this week, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask if, so I have like 30 points. I'm not sure if you would like me to review them, or one idea that I was thinking of is just that I would copy over the existing spec and do my changes, and
If it's
then,
just like something like argument order, just fix it right away.
okay. Okay, I have this to-do list, so I'll fix those minor ones, and then I will leave out the more
Okay.
bigger ones for later.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Lucheng, what about your side?
Sure. So there's some of the no code contribution during that week. Okay, firstly, with the help of that, we launched the XNet. And then I was primarily busy with reading some materials, doing some researches, and having a few discussions with Ved and Jeremiah on the domains design. We already have some ideas, but they are just more open questions. I think we'll talk about more in tomorrow's integrity thing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And how does the XNet work? Is everything okay?
Looks fine. It's just like I think it's probably my network. I can't constantly keep up syncing the network. my local, I have 2 local nodes. They just lagging behind the network from time to time. I see the log tells the network times out. I still trying to figure out why it's time out. I haven't figured out.
Okay, I think we can discuss in more detail on the core protocol sync.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Any questions to Lucheng? All right, Ved, I think you're the almost last one.
Sorry, apologies for getting late today. I overslept. Okay, last week there was a lot of discussions with Jeremiah and Lucian, as Lucian mentioned, about domain designs, as well as message protocol designs that we want to work on. Apart from that, a bit of support, not a lot to Nazar on the Gemini 1B, and also some infrastructure work for XNet. That is pretty much it on the last week, doing a lot of research on layer 0 protocol, how their message protocols work, and also the other bridges that are currently decentralized bridges that we were actually using as a reference for our design decisions. This week, the there are still some open questions on those discussions that we had last week, but some things are clear for me in terms of light client. So I want to start looking into our consensus and see if we can start maybe having a tech spec for those using those consensus protocols to like have a light client for us. Like it may not be an implementation per se, but I want to get started with at least a tech spec so that I can talk to Jeremiah, Dushang, and maybe Nazar when you are available as well. See if we are on the right path. That's mostly the focus until we have some open questions cleared up.
Okay, makes sense to me. Any questions to Ved? All right, thanks. On my side, I've been working on fixing different problems and doing some improvements on the monorepo side, on the farmer and node, basically due to discovering various things on the Gemini 1B. In addition to that, a lot of time was actually spent on reviewing different code contributions from the team. And outside of that, there was a pull request created in the peer-to-peer Rust implementation that allows us to customize how we transform peer IDs or other multi-hashes into keys when inserting into these K buckets and like searching for nodes and stuff like that. We do need customization for that for several reasons. And the pull request is out that allows that to be customizable, but by default it works pretty much the same it was before. So it's not breaking changes, that just extends the Rust implementation of peer-to-peer. And there are also some pull requests in the substrate. One of them is additional fixes to the sync process that is approved right now, but not merged yet. And the other one was about RocksDB, ability to remove RocksDB from dependencies and make it not part of the build. That one was finally merged last week after some time. So looking good, pretty good so far. And there are still some changes on the substrate side waiting for be merged. One of them is fixes to our PC servers that will allow us to stop and start nodes in process without restarting the whole application that is currently blocked by them. Otherwise, yeah, a discussion with Daria and some interviews as usual. Any questions to me about any of this or anything else really? Okay, I think I didn't miss anyone. All right, awesome. Thanks everyone for watching then, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, with more updates from our development team.